Hi, so I am Yves from France. I travel by electric bicycle, an electric trike actually, a sitting bicycle with three wheels, and I do a journey. So I'm here in Kenya now, and I came all the way from France overland. So on my journey, I crossed a big part of Europe, so through France, Switzerland, Italy, then all the Balkans, so Slovenia, Bosnia, Serbia, Kosovo, Macedonia, Bulgaria, then across the Middle East, so across Turkey, went to Lebanon, then back to Turkey, Iraq, Jordan, uh, Egypt, and then from Jordan I could reach Africa finally. So Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia, and here I am in Kenya, and I am on my way now to South Africa. So first heading towards Uganda, probably Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, and then all the way across Southern Africa to the way to South Africa. That's uh, that's what I'm doing. So at the same time, I'm filming my journey and I post it on YouTube also to finance my journey, also to help me finance my journey. And so I started 2 years ago, a bit more than 2 years ago from France. Um, it took me that long to reach here because doing the videos at the same time takes a long time. So the videos slow me down a lot. But only cycling, I think from France to here would take probably around 6 months, 7, 8 months, something like that, if I was cycling almost every day. But that's not the case. So what inspired me to do this kind of journey? It's originally is very simple. Is I was an engineer working in the business area in Paris. I was bored. I didn't like what I was doing, so I was strolling on the internet, seeing what people were doing. That's like almost 15 years ago now. And I saw some people were traveling the world on a bicycle, and basically that's how I thought, that looks cool. So that's basically how the ID started. Then I tried 10 years ago to travel with a normal bicycle, not electric, and I failed. So I went as a normally with like most people do with as a backpacker. I traveled the world like this, and I knew that this lifestyle was what the lifestyle I like in my life. So after this journey, I always had this kind of regret not to have failed to travel by bicycle, and maybe I think about 3 years ago, as I was working around the world. Um, my mother bought an electric bicycle, and when I jumped between two jobs from Indonesia to the US, and I did a stopover in France, I tried her electric bicycle, and it immediately clicked. I thought, I failed the normal bicycle. Maybe I can try with an electric bicycle, and that's how I got into this journey. Basically, somehow that's how I chose my vehicle for this journey. I used to have properties, but I sold everything. So now everything I have, if I have a few investments, they're all manageable from far away. And the family, I mean, no, I'm single. It's a bit complicated to have a family with this kind of nomadic lifestyle. So I mean, I have my parents, my sister, but I don't have a family except them. I like to see different culture. I like to experience to see how people are how people live in different places. Um, yeah, I just like to see something new, new people, new cultures, to just experience how the human being decided to create different cultures in different, very very different cultures in very different parts of the world. That's what I like, just to discover new cultures and new people. I mostly like to see the people and how they are everywhere in the world. For me, I don't find it tough because I like what I do. So I'm just happy to do it. I mean, the main sacrifice is not to have a family. I think it's very complicated to have a family, and that's actually, and I think it's probably a need. It's a natural human need to have a family, and with the lifestyle I have, it's a very complicated thing. So I think the main sacrifice, if you want the huge freedom I have, the what you lose is the family side basically. So I would say that's the toughest part. If I find someone who can adapt to my lifestyle, because my lifestyle for me is not non-negotiable. I love what I do, and I don't want to go back to an office. I mean, the main challenge is it's physically tiring to ride for many hours, sometimes for several days consecutively, uh, and it's though otherwise it's the safety. Sometimes you have to listen to the advice of the locals if people tell you it's dangerous, but also sometimes locals exaggerate because they want to make sure you're safe. So it's best to find a balance, and it's hard to know also from far away. Is a place safe or not? You hear maybe it's dangerous, but then you get close to it, you realize it's very localized, and you can go close to it, and nothing will happen to you. So it's I think one of the challenges is to be able to assess the situation and assess the safety of the places you go. Yes. Probably here I could meet wild animals, but not dangerous ones. I never met dangerous ones, but it will probably happen. I guess I will see how I deal with it. For me, it's just like just go, and if you are into trouble, just find a way out of the trouble. But first go. So far? For me, so far, I think it's good. Security is good? Yes, it's good. Honestly, I mean, when I had problems, I can understand why I had problems. So it's and it was never a problem that stopped my journey, basically. So it was, well, it's part of the deal. Like when you want to travel like this, you will face problems at some point. You'll be robbed. It just happens. It could happen anywhere. So it's just you have to be ready for it, and just don't let it make you scared and stop what you're doing. Just keep going. And I mean, everyone waves me to stop. So I thought I'll stop once, see how it goes. And as I stopped, and as they came to me and they immediately asked for money, I immediately thought, okay, I made the wrong move. It was not smart to stop. But then you are in the situation. So then I felt a little bit threatened. But in their behavior, they were not threatening. But I saw they had big knives, and they were asking for money. So that's why usually I would say no, but that's why I gave them money in this situation. And it was a little bit tricky. So then when I opened my bag, I was worried that they would see maybe. I didn't know if my money was hidden or not, so I was worried if they would see some more money. So, but I felt a little bit tensed. But basically, I just thought I'd just give them money and then go away as fast as possible, because that's the only way out. Then, if they want to, for another reason, get their weapons out or their knives out and threaten me, then it's too late. I'm already in the situation, so it's too late. So I just try to stay calm, give money to satisfy them somehow, and go away as fast as possible. But so yeah, basically, in this situation, I just try to stay calm, but I know that I need to get out of this situation as fast as possible. And the second incident, it was a bit similar, because at first he was asking for food, so I was okay. It's fine. I can give you a bit of food, but then he was asking to kind of like a lot of food, like he seemed to like want all my food. So it was a little weird. So I did not really feel threatened, because I did not see him having any weapon, but I felt a little bit, like, say, harassed. So I was just annoyed. I didn't feel threatened. But then when I could understand that he was asking for money at the same time. Then I thought, okay, he's not gonna give up. So I just thought the same. I need to find a way to get out of it. So, which was basically just pack my things and tell him I'm going. So if I leave, he's not gonna. He cannot follow me because he's walking. So when I felt the situation was turning the wrong way, then that's the same thing. So if something bad happens because he wants to rob me immediately and threatens me, it's just too late. I put myself in the situation. It's too late. I can't do anything about it. But I try to make the situation that is not good last the least time possible, and get out of it. So pack my things and get on the road again. For me, speaking a local language, it's not really speaking. For me, speaking the local language is not that difficult, because I just learn, let's say, 4 or 5 basic words to show respect to the culture, because in any culture in the world, the language is a big part of the culture. So to show respect to local people, I beg therefore to learn hello, thank you, how are you, I'm fine, just a few basic words. So that's just to make people happy, because it's always nicer if a foreigner arrives to your place and he starts speaking in a language you don't know. Like in France, people, if they don't speak French, people are offended. So I understand also that outside you have to try to say hello, at least in the local language. It's just sign of respect, basically. But I don't know. In the end, I don't really know the local language. I just know some languages I know more, but some languages I just know 4 or 5 words, and that's all. But the languages where I know I will stay a long time, like I stayed a long time in Ethiopia and I've been many times in Ethiopia. So that's why I know a little bit more of Amharic. And Swahili, I make a bigger effort because I know it's a language that is quite widespread. But for example, for Borana language, I know very little because I just passed through. So in the case of Borana, I just knew hello, thank you, that's all, basically. Swahili words, yeah, I know, like, well, Mambo, Jumbo, Safi, Poa, Wasana. I'm learning on Duolingo, but here it's hard to practice because everyone speaks very good English. Especially in Africa, with my passport, it can be complicated. So far, now I'm out of the complicated areas, but Sudan, if I came from Egypt because also Sudan is easier to get the visa in Egypt, but if you don't get it in Egypt, it's very complicated. So Sudan is it can be tricky sometimes. But in the end, Ethiopia and Kenya was quite easy because there is e-visa. But yeah, that's one of the main issues that you have to foresee, basically. For example, in Iraq, they have a weird thing with this Kurdistan, which is kind of half independent in the north. So I entered from Turkey in Kurdistan, so I got a Kurdish visa, but it was not valid for the entire country. It's only valid for part of the country. So then I had to fly to Baghdad to get the visa without my bike because my bike cannot fly, to get the visa for the whole country and go back to Kurdistan to pick up my bike. So sometimes you have to find tricks to just for the visa. Like when I will go in West Africa, the area through Congo, Gabon, Cameroon, Nigeria is going to be quite complicated for me as well. So after Nakuru, I will be heading towards Kisumu first, and then Kampala, then probably Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, and then across Zambia. And then I will see probably Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, something like that.
And from South Africa, what else?
And from South Africa back up to Europe via the West Coast. I don't know exactly how, but like basically through, let's say, Angola.
Okay.
Angola, then all the Congos, all the Congo, Gabon, Cameroon, Nigeria, all West Africa, and through all the way to Morocco and then Spain. So since I started my journey in France all the way to Kenya, I cycled about 11,000 kilometers. In Iraq, I could have cycled actually, but I did not cycle some part because of potential war around, so risks of kidnapping and this. In Ethiopia also, I skipped some part because of the safety issues. And in Sudan, I skipped some parts because my bike is electric and no electricity. So it was like if it was like 300 kilometers of desert with no electricity, there's no way I can do it. Well, I could do it in some way, but I could not use my engine, so it would have been much more complicated. It was 45 degrees. It was very hot, so I think it was dangerous to do it. So I decided to skip one part because of the heat and the lack of electricity in Sudan. But mostly it's for safety, sometimes for just lack of electricity. But when I skipped, it's always I put the bike in a car or on top of a minibus or in a bus, but never by flight, always overland. My message, just believe in yourself and just try to do what you like. It's always better to do what you like. For me, this journey for me is just to do what I like. And I tried to make it my job and it worked out. Just trust yourself, and because humans are capable of much more than what we think. We are capable of much more than what we think. So just trust yourself and try to do what you like and what you just genuinely like.